Welcome to the Redefine Podcast.
All right, happy Tuesday and happy podcast day to you. Welcome to the show if you're brand new. And of course, if you're an existing listener, welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. So if you are an existing listener, you'll notice that I missed an episode, or you'll have noticed that I missed an episode last week. And even this week's episode, even today's episode, is one of those rare instances where I am recording, editing, and publishing all in the same day. So it is Tuesday as I'm recording this, and we'll be releasing this episode late, of course. There's just been lots happening. In my life. One of the major chapters of change and this long enduring transition phase of my life is that we have moved my mom up here to the mountain, which entailed packing up her house and sifting and sorting and what are we keeping, what are we donating, what are we recycling, what are we throwing away, et cetera, et cetera. And for those of you who have moved, especially entire houses, you'll understand and can relate to how big a task that is, right? And so I was gone for 2 weeks, and usually I try to bank episodes and have episodes ready when such things happen in life, that take precedence, and take priority. But I just couldn't keep up. Again, moving an entire house is such a huge task. It was one of those things. I mean, obviously, prioritization is huge when you have a lot to do, and generally, I'm the type of person that likes to keep myself busy, but oftentimes, especially in this transition phase that I've been going through over the last couple of years, there are certain things that just take priority, right? And tackling the most pressing and important thing first is something I had to do. It was something that I always do, but that meant putting the show aside and letting other things like my social media, letting some of those things slide, because we wanted to meet a certain timeline of getting moved and then getting the house repaired and fixed up to be put on the market. So yeah, man, lots of changes. Thankfully that chapter, at least that small, maybe even subchapter of this transition phase has it's mostly done, and it's on to the next thing, right? On to the next most important thing. Now that I am back up on the mountain, it's still an adjustment period. We're still transitioning because my mom's only been here a week, and of course I have my friends Don and Jane up here helping us with not only the move, but with expanding the property and building new tiny homes up here. So there's going to be a lot going on, but thankfully, again, I'm up here, and I will be able to better manage, the next chapters, whatever those might be. On my priorities list. Of course, when we're talking about business, and if you're talking about your marketing, and if you're trying to do your social media, I want you to prioritize that outside of like really pressing life events. Those things should have priority, and I think what people can tend to do is put off the things that don't have that immediate and pressing need, and it can feel like business and entrepreneurism and social media aren't a pressing need. But if you want to get those things accomplished, if you really want to achieve growth in any of those things, you have to make those a priority over everything else, even if you don't feel like you're getting results. One of the best examples up here on the mountain is I have an apple tree that's planted. You can't really see it from this video, but it's planted behind the house on the other side of the mountain. And we planted that apple tree back in it's been at least 8 years, 9 years even maybe. And this year is the first year that it's actually bearing fruit, and some really big apples at that. So the lesson is that you plant, you nurture, you work at it, you Make sure that it's watered if there's a drought. You just, you take care. And like apple trees are relatively resilient and self-maintaining, but keeping the brush clear so that it doesn't get suffocated, things like that. You're always working on it, and you're always putting that effort in over the years, even if it's not producing fruit for you. Because with social media, with entrepreneurism, with building a business, anything that you're building, that you have a dream to build, you got to put in the consistent effort, and be willing to wait out however long it takes to get the results that you want, however long it takes to for your apple tree to bear fruit, right? And in weighing out the importance of it, it's a matter of it may not be immediately pressing and important in the moment, but it has to have that level of importance for you, in terms of how badly do you really want to achieve that thing, right? How badly, what is your reasoning? And to it sounds like cliche, but I mean that's why gurus and leaders and mentors are always talking about having your reason, right? Having your why, your purpose for doing it. That has to be more important than some of the maybe, well, again, life events are life events, but we generally prioritize things that are perhaps more trivial than your dreams, right? And it's because it's easier to do that, right? But make sure you put in the time, make sure you put in the work. Things are always changing. Life always comes up. Life events always come up. But you got to prioritize. You got to prioritize the things. You got to prioritize your dreams, basically, and your goals, or otherwise they'll never get achieved. And so put in the work. I had to take, one episode off. Not that huge a deal for the show. I'm back on the horse, as it were, and we're gonna do our best to keep up with the Tuesday Thursday schedule. So that's your message for today. It is a long-term play, of course. With life events, prioritize the things that are most pressing and important in the moment, but always be putting time into your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, your business, your social media, whatever those dreams and goals might be. Always put time into them, because they do require consistent effort for you to bear fruit, for it to bear fruit. Okay. All right. So the other thing I wanted to mention, book review. Actually, in this conversation about change and transition, and there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of questions and what if. Of course, tackle what's in front of you. But the book recommendation, I just started. I'm 3 chapters in. It's Michelle Obama's book, The Light. I see. I should have checked my notes. It's her most recent book from 2022, I believe. The Light Within, or something like that. Anyways, I'll link the book itself in the show notes and in the description of this video. But I know certain people feel certain ways politically about everything these days. But this book isn't political at all. It's really about how to manage and handle times of difficulty and transition and change and uncertainty, right? How to manage your own emotional state and getting through those things and building your resilience to those things. I mean, Michelle Obama arguably has been has been an individual that has tackled, I think, more adversity than most, right? From all angles, and through her life, actually, and she shares an amazing perspective of how she's been able to really again manage and become more resilient through those things, and shares a lot of practical perspective as well. So if you're facing difficulty, adversity, challenges, change, uncertainty in your life, fear of those things, then pick up this book. It's really helped me a lot, especially the last couple of weeks, to get recentered, regrounded, hearing her perspective, and even some of the tools that she has suggested that has worked for her over the years as she faced mountains and mountains of adversity through her life and her careers. So yeah, pick that up. Again, I'll leave the show notes in the title in the description of this episode. No, I'll leave the show notes. I'll leave the link in the description of this episode. And yeah, that's it. Of course, there's going to be a fresh new one on Thursday. So until then, be well, be safe. See you in the next episode.